I've always been kind of conflicted when it comes to grading collectibles. I personally don't own anything that's graded, but taking something you own that may be of value, sending it off to a company, them inspecting it, assigning a number based on the condition, and then locking it behind an acrylic slab to never be used again, just to be looked at. I understand some people will argue, hey, I do this and I buy these kind of things because it increases the value just off the bat, according to some people, and it protects their investment. It keeps it in that condition that it was when they sent it off, type of thing. But, there's so many things that go on out there that really make some of this seem a little sketchy at times. I've seen people get sports cards and Pokemon cards graded. They don't like the grade, they crack it and they resubmit it and get a better grade. It just seems like, hey, what's the standard with this stuff? But then there's things like WATA with the retro video game market and their manipulation, their accused manipulation that really has soured a lot of people. And this isn't the only news story of them where they have a relationship with Heritage Auctions. If you remember a while back, all these crazy big auctions on Heritage for retro video games selling $100,000, $1 million, crazy freaking numbers. And then people dig into it and they find, well, there's a relationship between these two companies. There's somebody who works for Heritage who consults with WATA, who's also bid on some of these auctions and won. So it seemed like, hey, there's some kind of manipulation going on here for a small group of people boosting the value of these games to try to profit off of it. And then not just that, there was the WATA's co-founder being accused of selling large number of his own games that were graded by WATA. Obviously, a conflict of interest there also could be looked at as manipulation. A lot of ridiculous, weird stuff going on with WATA. And yeah, now we have something else that I find really interesting. I saw earlier today, sorry, no dark theme on here. I'm not signed in on Twitter on my incognito tab, but this Twitter user, CEO, had brought this up about this eBay listing for Castlevania Rondo of Blood Dracula X for the PC Engine being WATA graded. And I started reading this and looking at the replies and like, how do they not know this is not a real game? Or how can anybody confirm that, yeah, this is a reproduction, not, a back and forth type of thing? They're stating it's a PCEWorks reprint, which PCEWorks has done for a long time, selling, like, not officially, mind you, like reprints, very high quality, like actually pressing CDs, not burning them type of thing, and getting everything professionally done. And they sell for quite a bit of money. I guess there's a market for it. I'm not into that kind of thing, but sometimes from outward appearances, these repros are very hard to tell if you don't have a trained eye on if they're actually a reproduction or not. Like, is this copy here, Castlevania Rondo of Blood, that has been graded by WATA, a 9.2? This is a holy grail according to this seller on eBay, but then all signs lead to that WATA doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I can't say anything for sure with this seller. Like, do they know? Did they buy this somewhere else? Did they personally have it graded? I don't know if the seller knows what they're doing or not. You can assume what you want. But when you really start digging into this listing, let's go ahead and take a look. First, let's look at the description. Castlevania Rondo of Blood original print. They're making no claim of not being unsure of the legitimacy. No, they're straight up saying this is an original print. Release date 1993, October 29th. And this is a WATA 9.2 Holy Grail grade, mint grade deep badge, which is an authentic, non-replicable quality with prestige label. The wording on that just kind of seems a little like a machine to me, but whatever. From a non-smoking, clean environment. I would hope so. And they do state that this is a brand new item. So the condition specifies that it's never been opened or removed from the manufacturer's seal. So let's go ahead and take a look at these pictures a little closer, right? Now, I kind of get confused looking at these grades. So we're going to look at why this is definitely a PCEWorks repro and not legit, worth like $4,000, whatever they're asking for, in a second. But okay, if you really don't know and you just an immediate look at this, you're like, okay, it looks like a legit game. You got the WATA stuff. It's legit WATA, right? So grade details, box 9.2, disc 9.2, manual 9.4, overall 9.2. My question is, how the frick do you grade a disc if it's sealed? That's just my question. Is this not sealed? Because I mean, I can't tell from looking at the pictures, but they state it's brand new, it's sealed. So this is the problem here. These PCEWorks, they're not marked on the outside, but they will typically be marked inside the like the manual and whatnot. So if this was sealed, how could you grade the disc? Like, how could you really grade the manual just from the outward appearance on the front? Maybe, I guess, but how do you grade the disc, right? And if this was open and you inspected the inside, then you would see that it's a reproduction and not an original game. But yeah, this is graded as if it's an official original release from Konami for the PC Engine. This is one picture we're going to look at to show you that it's actually a reproduction in a second here, because there's some telltale signs as far as a PCEWorks repro. But I mean, just looking at it, it's got Konami. It looks legit just from a quick glance. And that's the thing. A lot of people hate this. This retro gaming market has gone nuts over the years, man. Prices have, I think they've fluctuated a bit. Some things have come down, but then there's just this scummy practice. I'm not against repros at all. I own quite a few repros, especially for the Super Nintendo. And every single one that I have, they have a different label. They're in a different color shell that is very clearly a reproduction. Because my thought was like, I don't want it to look official, like it was original, because it's not. And I don't want it, like, by chance, any chance whatsoever, to go back out in the circulation and somebody thinking it's an authentic copy. I want there to be like very easily visible signs that this is a reproduction type of thing. So stuff like this, I don't like, sellers selling things that are like very close one to one without it being like, hey, if you wanted all the original artwork, there should be something plastered right on the front that says reproduction. Very clearly the front of the manual, the CD spine label, the frickin' disc, there should be that clearly marked to not have stuff like this ever happen, to never let this kind of thing ever happen again. But okay, how do we know for sure that this is a repro that WATA has graded as an original copy, not just some big misunderstanding? So there's a few signs that you could tell right off of the bat if you know what to look for. And I did find this repro discussion on this message board here. It was in German. I have it translated to English. And they were talking about this specific listing and a few signs that they pointed out that pretty much give it away type of thing. And I'm going to show you that right now. And I also saw somebody mention here how this particular release from PCEWorks, this repro, in pictures, it's harder to tell that it's not original versus if you saw it in real life, you would tell right away, like, hey, this is a fake. Just harder to tell in images. But this right here, this one user posted this up. This on the left is an original copy. And I've looked at tons of scans of original copies on eBay, online, and numerous places, and they all look like this. This is on the back of the box on the bottom left. They have this image here, and then they have this text, and it has a little bit of a space between it. The PCEWorks one that we're looking at in the eBay listing looks like this. This is a PCEWorks reproduction where the font has been moved up. Like they took the image, stretched it slightly, moved things around slightly. I've seen PCEWorks ones that look closer to this, so I think maybe at some point that guy decided like, oh, let me make it look more legit. Who knows, to fool people or what? I don't know. But I've seen both with PCEWorks, but original, I've only seen this. But there's some other things going on here. And I'll show you on the listing here. You could see down there, that font is right up on there. I downloaded this image so we could zoom up a little easier. But yeah, here you go. The font is moved up. Everything is slightly off here. Now, there should be, and I believe there is, but it just kind of bleeds into it. There should be a very clear as day trademark symbol, a TM right there. And it looks like it's kind of bleeding into the background. And there's a reason for that. It's a lower quality print. The original has a TM right next to the X, and you could clearly see it. And it's if you could look at these, it's very hard with these lower res pictures that people post to zoom up and really see it. But there should be a rosette pattern with the print here, and it's not. It's blurry. So some of the details will bleed into the backgrounds and into one another. And a lot of times these repros, they'll look darker too. They'll be a bit blurrier, a bit darker. So I did pull up, let me see. I did pull up a listing here of an original. And as you could see, this is, you got the spacing down there. You could see the TM right there. It's a lot clearer. It's a lot crisper. And this is an old copy, right? Now, if you look at you look at the fake, the colors are darker. Things don't look quite right. If you zoom up on this, like, you should be able to see. It's hard because it's not the highest quality scan, but you'll see, the rosette patterns and the colors and whatnot. If you looked at it in real life, you could really see that. But it's just it's crisp. You could see the details in the monster there, but on the fake one, it's very blurry. Even though, I mean, the picture is a little lower res, but you could just tell it's blurrier. So yeah, what is WATA doing? What is WATA doing with these grades? Grading reproductions and people passing them off as legit. You take a repro, you get it sealed behind a case, and you have a company saying, "Hey, we certified this. We graded everything." How do you grade the damn disc when it's supposed to be sealed? I don't understand that. None of that makes sense back here. But people will be fooled by this, and this person has this listed for about $4,000. That is nuts. This kind of stuff is ridiculous, because I could see somebody go into this listing, this person with 100% positive feedback, with over 3,000 feedback. This could be one of your holy grails, one of those games that you just really want. And you see it and you're like, dude, I don't care. It's been graded. It's a high grade, $4,000. Let me put that on my credit card. Let me, whatever, and buy it. And they just have it sitting on their shelf for decades, until one day somebody comes along and says, "You got duped, homie." It sucks, man. I don't want to see that happen to people, but something's got to give. These companies are a joke grading stuff, and it happens with other companies too, grading stuff that's fake as real. This kind of money, man, can't be playing around. Let me know what you guys think. Bye.